Bonjour tout le monde. Good morning, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
And the last time I introduced the Galt Moraine Conservation Act, this place was overflowing with people. But unfortunately, due to COVID restrictions, we have a more limited group today. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that I'm speaking to you from the traditional territory of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, the Anishinaabeg, the Haudenosaunee, the Chippewa, and the Treaty 13 lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. I want to reaffirm the Ontario Green Party's commitment to the truth and reconciliation process, which is so vital to dismantling colonialism and systemic racism. I also just want to offer my sincere gratitude to Indigenous people for teachings about how to care for the land, the water, the plants, the people and animals who live here. I especially want to thank Indigenous peoples for teachings about protecting water, because water is essential to life. And government has a sacred duty to protect our water for present and future generations. And that's why today, the Ontario Greens, we are introducing my private member's bill, the Galt Moraine Conservation Act. If passed, this pivotal legislation would protect drinking water for hundreds of thousands of Ontarians in a region of the province that is expected to grow up to 1 million residents by 2041. From Caledon to Guelph to Cambridge, Brantford, and beyond. This bill provides model legislation for how to protect water and moraines across the province. And as the climate crisis worsens, Ontarians need to preserve and protect water supplies before the situation becomes more costly and dire. More delays will cost us in our wallets and with our health. Protecting the Galt Moraine is the fiscally and environmentally responsible thing to do. Ontario Greens are committed to restoring and protecting water and nature, so nature can help protect people and communities. As part of our roadmap to net zero climate plan, we would permanently protect prime farmland and wetlands while committing to protecting 25% of Ontario's lands by 2025 and 30% by 2030. This legislation is an example of that commitment in action. This type of protection could not come at a more important time. This week's Auditor General's report was a scathing report on the Ford government's agenda of environmental destruction. As a matter of fact, the Auditor General even raised questions whether the Ministry of Environment is actually there to protect the environment. As Doug Ford's government threatens water across the province with projects such as the Holland Marsh Highway or Bradford Bypass, which threatens groundwater in the Holland Marsh area and the already at-risk Lake Simcoe, with his proposed plans to pave over parts of Carruthers Creek headwaters, which would negatively affect drinking water in the Durham region. His plan to build Highway 413, which would cut across 85 waterways, paving over 2,000 acres of farmland and 400 acres of the Greenbelt. And his uncritical support of Line 5, which threatens our Great Lakes. And I can tell you, as the only MPP who stood up to protect the Great Lakes here at Queen's Park by voting against Doug Ford's motion to support pipelines, which the NDP supported, I can tell you how important it is to have green voices and green legislation at Queen's Park. Ontario Greens will continue to lead the way in protecting people, water, and nature at Queen's Park. And this bill provides the foundation for water and moraine protection across Ontario. You know, the Premier has said that he wants to expand the Greenbelt. Earlier this year, he even floated the idea of including the Paris Galt Moraine in the Greenbelt. So my message to Doug Ford and the PC government is, pass my bill, the Paris Galt Moraine Conservation Act. Stop using it as a talking point to distract people from your environmentally destructive agenda. Ontario Greens will not back down from protecting the places we love. So even when Doug Ford prorogues the legislature and important bills like the Paris Galt Moraine Conservation Act are removed from the order paper, we will come back fighting for what's right for the people of Ontario. Ontario Greens have a real plan for real action on the climate crisis and for ways to protect water and nature, because that's what's required to address the climate emergency we face. And I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you. Merci.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you do have a question, please press star 1. You do have a question from Adam Donaldson with Guelph Politico. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I guess the question I had is, before proroguing, how far along did the bill get in terms of, the work that was being done in committee? And is there a chance that this might get a final vote before the election?
Yeah, Adam. So as you probably know, the bill passed first and second reading, and importantly passed second reading with all party support. But unfortunately died in committee when the legislature was prorogued. Whether or not it'll come back for a vote is difficult because of the way ballot dates work for private members' bill. But I felt it was critically important to reintroduce this bill and to have it on the order paper, because as the government talks about expanding the Greenbelt, this provides model legislation for how we can expand protections not only to the Paris Galt Moraine, which is vital for drinking water in the region of the province I live, but I believe provides model legislation for protecting moraines across the province. And it's important for us to move that conversation and that debate forward, because we simply can't wait to do the important work of protecting our water.
Do you have any other questions, Adam?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
There are no further questions.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.